Good evening. I thought I would start doing some more tarot streaming. I've been doing some game streaming recently, which is a lot of fun. I do that during downtime when I'm not developing apps or doing other things, for work. But I am going to be doing tarot readings for people individually. They are 30-minute readings that I'm going to do via, personal one-on-one video readings. So that is going to be happening. On Twitch, there's a social link that says personal tarot reading. And that's just a link to the Facebook Messenger for Candlelight Stories, their business page on Facebook, and it just messages, and you just say, I'm interested in the reading, and I will then go back and forth with you and very quickly just tell you how it works and schedule the reading. And payments happen through PayPal. It's very, very easy. So there you go. And you can get a flavor for how I do things by watching here, of course. So let me look at my thing here. A queue. I'm going to open a queue. And I'm going to say, all right, let me refresh my memory on how, yes, okay, so I'm just making sure I know, whoops. Something's. I'm trying to get. I'm working on does not look like it's registering. I recently updated my system, and could have sworn that I'm using the OBS chatbot tool. should bear with me while I set up. It's not detecting it. Okay. Oh, okay. Connections. Where's the connections tab? Sometimes these things are really mysterious. Connections. Oh, there we go. Twitch. Oh. I've got to log it into Twitch. I think because of the recent trouble Twitch had, it disconnected all of the accounts and updated tokens and stuff like that. So, yeah. Okay. Twitch Tarot Bot. Okay. They send a code, so I have to do that. Yes, of course, two-factor authentication. Okay. Authorize. Connect. Right? I can only hope. Okay. Did it? Um, now. Thank you, LexMix Games. I'm doing tarot tonight. I just finished doing some Fortnite. It took me 5 or 6 games to win one. Let's see what I can. Let me see. Here we go. I got my bot connected finally. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Twitch got hacked a few weeks ago, and as a result, they changed a bunch of things and blew out a bunch of authorizations and stuff, so I had to refresh it. Thank you, LexMix. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to get started with, oh, here we go. I think we can just do that to play some music. I'm going to start out with a 3-card reading. I always start out a tarot evening by doing a little, over on the tarot table there, just sort of a general reading that gives you kind of a flavor of how I work and how it goes over here with Cymaxian Tarot. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to the tarot table and make my way over there. All right, let me see. Let me make some space right here for what I need to do. Okay. So, this is the Tarot de Marseille deck. The Tarot de Marseille deck, which is classic. It's an old deck from the city of Marseille, France. Very, very medieval deck. Let's move these cards around and see what comes out. 1, this 1, 2, and 3. Let's do it that way. It's as random as I can make it. All right. Okay, 3-card reading. And what we're doing is we're looking on the left and thinking of this as something that we have, that we can kind of not worry too much about. It's kind of our support. It's there for us. But we can kind of let it
let it be a little bit. And here in the middle, the center card is something we're working on, something to focus on right now, something to deal with, and to not necessarily deal with in a bad way. There's nothing negative about that. It just means this is where the work and focus is. And here is something to seek on the right. This is something we want to move toward. Okay, something we've got, something stable that's there for us that we don't have to worry so much about. 4 of Cups, the suit of feeling of the heart, love, emotion. Cups, the cup runneth over. The cup is the holder. The cup is the grail. The cup is the source. And the 4 is the stability of home, sanctuary, safety, strength, dependability, confidence. The 4. So in the realm of the heart, the feeling, we're dealing with feeling here. We're dealing here with a highly intuitive card in the middle, and then over here we're dealing with the creative forces and energies that impel us to do and achieve. So we've got feeling, heart driving us through, expressing itself somehow, or this feeling, this energized love of subtle energies of intuition and voices from inside that speak to us through the High Priestess card, and that perhaps express themselves and influence what we make, what we create. Okay? So that's a very, very, very quick view of all 3 cards. Now let's talk a little bit more about what we can depend on, and that is some feeling we have right now, today, this week, for what we do, what we want, what we hope to accomplish. And we have that capacity to love what we do. Enthusiasm, but more deeper than enthusiasm. It's a real sort of a deep-seated, confident, strong love for what we are able to make. It's almost like this is like a form of self-love. We have to love what we are inside as we seek answers and try to find what it is we really want and hope to achieve. And the card is saying, listen to your heart because it's strong. It's always been there for you. It's always been dependable. You can rely on its messages. That's the message of the 4. Stability, like the square. Now, something to focus on, the real heart of the issue here. La Papesse, it says, the high priest is what this card, the high priestess is what this card is. The feminine, the intuitive, in touch with deep, unconscious drives, the unseen will, the creative force that expresses itself without being obvious, without making itself clearly known. But she has this innate ability to bring out language, poetry. This is the source of poetry, this religious awe, this ability to see into the depths of the person, of the persona, of the mind, of dreams, to see what's hidden, or at least to get hints and bring it out. And that's what we need to apply our strong love and our confident heart. We need to take that strong heart and use it, rely on it to guide us through these wanderings, through things that can sometimes be difficult to understand and express clearly. But this is a power that we have right now because she is able to do this. This is her thing, her skill. She's able to reach in and pull out of the depths of the clouds, of the water, language and expression. And that brings us to what we seek moving forward, something to try to bring about, and that is the Two of Wands, the creative energy suit, the driving passion for what we build, what we seek to leave behind, what we want to create. And that too is the coupling, the coming together of forces, meeting and gathering their strengths, even their conflicting abilities, and bringing them into a unified whole, a coupling, a marriage, and its preparation to move forth and begin. So the point is, gather the strength. Take the strength of the heart and the love for what you do. Seek the finer hidden meanings, the subtleties, and apply them in your preparation for action, for endeavor. That's what these cards are suggesting. Okay, so I'm going to go to the queue because I think Lexmix working. Let me see. Yes, okay, it is working. Now, this can be one of those highly motivating little readings if somebody's working on something at their job or a hobby or, anything one wants to that requires creative energy. It could be writing, it can even be how you want to talk to someone. But this implies a strong feeling, confident approach to things that are hidden, perhaps things that haven't been clear lately. Well, one's power of intuition comes into play. One's power to understand the subtleties of the human heart comes into play. And leads, of course, as I said before, to this gathering of force, readiness to move into something new, to take a new sort of approach, perhaps. Now, let's look at another card just for fun and talk about it. Okay. Knight of Swords. Swords are a slightly tricky suit. Swords are always sort of thought of as the realm of thought and intellect. But you know, a sword's a sword. And that means conflict. A sword is a weapon. And you use a weapon to achieve something with violence. There's no ambiguity about the sword. I think tarot readers tend to make the sword a bit gentler and focus on the idea aspect, but a sword is a sword is a sword. And you're talking about waving a sword around in someone's face. So you don't ride out with a sword to be nice, right? It implies it implies conflict and aggression and protection, defense. So you have to look at these ideas, the realm of thought and belief, and think and remember that it also implies the aggression. And that means that, might, strength. I guess thinking can lead one in that direction. But here's the knight, and the knight is full of aggression. The knight moves, the knight takes action, the knight goes out. So when you apply this to thinking, then you see that there's a lot of confidence in the knight, and it's suggesting to take action, to deal with problems, to take care of things, take care of business. Don't hesitate. Go out and do it. Break down the walls. The knight can be a bit over aggressive. It can be a dangerous card. You have to be careful about that card. A knight can blunder in. So that's something you have to remember. It's kind of good. The more swords come up, they always present a little bit of that little slight bit of doubt in a reading. Because of their harshness. Sharp. You can't entirely overly symbolize a sword and say, well, it represents the sharpness and acuity of thought and one's ability to cut through to the heart of the matter. Sure, it does. But you can do the same thing with a butter knife. You don't need a sword and a suit of armor, really? Okay. So it's got more in it than getting to the heart of a matter. It's got more in it than cutting through the nonsense. You have to remember that. Pentacles. 10. I'm sorry, 8 of Pentacles. The 8 where was I? 8. Pentacles, coins. This is the earth symbol. This is the symbol of material, of stuff, of things you need to have. Your money, your clothes, your food, the things you need to get along. 8. There's perfection, harmonious existence. There is also the possibility for change coming. You know, perfection and harmony. Things are all singing along perfectly together. Things are really looking good. We are really achieving a lot with what we have. We've invested recently. Maybe things are going up, up, up. Things are rising 20%. Maybe we went and invested in cryptocurrency and oh my gosh, it's taken off and look at this harmony and everything looks beautiful to me. You know, and that's where you're sitting in the 8. And the 8 can get a little complacent if you're not careful. You know, you can be too happy with your circumstances and sit there. But that 8 is, it can be it can lead the next thing to be a sudden awareness that we need to move on to the next thing. We can't rest in our comfort on these soft cushions and piles of money forever. We gotta keep active. So the 8 has those qualities about it. Now, ah ha ha, oh ho. Strength. La Force. Look what she's doing. This is a major arcana card. Look what she's doing. What is she doing? I mean, why would you do that? Why would you hold a dog or any animal that way? By the jaws that way? Is she giving him a pill? Is she a veterinarian? Is she just opening his mouth because he swallowed something and she's trying to get it out? I don't know. The dog doesn't look particularly annoyed. It's just an odd thing to do. Why would this woman express her strength by yanking open the jaws of an animal? An animal. And look, she has the Ouroboros, the infinity symbol in her hat, just like the magician does. So she has power. And she may be a nurturing figure, but there's something hard about her. Harsh. She's controlling that animal. You don't hold an animal that way unless you're controlling it. So there's a tendency in that card, which is a hard one to read, but it just does jump out at you that she's doing something to an animal I wouldn't do unless I were trying to help it get something that was stuck in its throat out. So I don't know. This card is odd. I have misgivings about it. Here's a card. Here's a sword again. A number card for swords. The 9. Okay, you've got that weapon again. 9 is, you're just about getting through it all. You're just about getting there and achieving it. You're just almost over the hill. But you got to really put an effort in. You got to really make it through the crisis before you reach the water. And that 9 is there, and it's almost like a cage. It's very hard to get through this. You have to have stick-to-itiveness. You have to really impel yourself forward in order to get to the final stage. And of course, again, it could be confusion, ideas, working out problems that are really complex. And you're going to require that strength and that hard ability to attack or to defend your ideas before the victory, before you can really get where you need to go. That 9. Yes, tarot lady in a church. You're right. When the dog eats something it shouldn't. That's exactly right. That's what you would hold a dog's jaws. You would reach down and hold that jaw open to try to get to get like the stick or something out that the dog was choking on. Right. And is that what that character is doing in the tarot card? I don't think so. It certainly doesn't look like it. It looks like she's standing there prying a dog's jaws wide open just for the hell of it. So, I think that card has qualities that can be highly obnoxious. They can be very useful. But I think it's one of those cards you got to be careful about. You can't put always a fully positive spin on everything in the tarot. However, the same can be said for like the 13th card. You can't always put a fully negative spin on everything. People tend to do that. Let's try another one. Looking at that. Okay, these are interesting. A court card. Okay. The Queen of Coins. Deniers in the French. But, okay, so the Queen, the calmly assertive authority of the nurturing Queen image. Now, you could just as easily have a guy sitting here, and you do. Then another card has a King of Coins. The feminine in the tarot with these old decks is usually sort of interpreted as having a nurturing quality. And I'm not sure exactly if that's entirely 100% always right, but that's been the idea for a long time, and I don't see any harm in it. Just to say to distinguish between one card and another slightly in tone because it's male or female, masculine, feminine. But she is focused on the coin. She's relatively calm. She knows her strength. She seems a little... she's not a joyful character, that's for sure. So there's a certain amount of day-to-day grind I see in this picture. taking care of what needs to be taken care of in order to keep the family or the house or the business or the realm, the kingdom, the country in good stead, stable, healthy. This is the material realm again. And these court cards, they have a little bit more stability than the number cards. They're a little bit more long-lasting in their influence, have a little bit more depth. And sometimes court cards can be rather difficult to deal with in a reading for some reason. But it sometimes helps to focus on their association with personality types that are not too significant, too deeply entrenched. They're more come and go compared to the major arcana cards, which are much more deep-seated aspects of the psyche. Okay, here we have a king figure from the court cards. And he's the King of Wands. Now, this character looks a little bit more enthusiastic somehow in his approach, in his body language and expression. And he is with the creative wand symbol, that fire symbol, the stick. The stick you can turn into a torch. You can also use it to beat something down. But typically it's thought of as the energy of passion and creative force, the hormonal aspect, if you will, of tarot. And the king has that authority and confidence again that, I can do this. I've got it. No problem, buddy. I can take care of this. You need me to paint the Sistine Chapel on my back on top of a scaffold 6 stories tall, and I have to do it in 3 days? No problem. I've got it. That's kind of the king attitude in Wands. Oh boy. This is one of those big, deep major arcana cards I'm talking about. Judgment. First thing you see is a religious symbol. You see a herald angel blowing a horn down out of the sky, for God's sake, and those poor little people all naked on the bottom coming out of some hole or a bathtub or something. I mean, come on. Talk about religious symbols. Well, this is something you can put on a stained glass window, right? Well, there's kind of a reason for that because, tarot is delving into religion. It gets there. It opens those doors. And opening the door is the door opens from out of the clouds and there's this call. And it's kind of like you got no choice but to listen to it. Look, if you think about it, here's this person here. These two look almost pitying of this third middle person. These two on each side are kind of hoping the best, hoping that something will happen with this person in the middle. They're hoping they'll make it somehow. Like if they might die or something, or they're sick. Something's not right. And these two are hoping, please, we just want you to please just, and this person's listening, trying to hear this, there's something major going on that they're missing or they need to follow. They need to get there. They need to listen to something very important going on inside. They have to find their calling. They have to get through that door. They have to find this. What is the message of this angel? Angels throughout history have been this sort of character. They've come down to deliver something. They are messengers. They are go-betweens. Right? You see it in movies all the time, that kind of idea. They bring a message. They tell the character something really important, sometimes scary. And this person needs to follow that in this case. They're probably scared of it. It's scary business. Okay, I have someone in the queue. Okay, Jelly Milly Mellow. Jelly Milly Mellow, you you can go ahead. You can go ahead and ask. And I will get my deck ready for some shuffling business. Okay, Chili Milly Mellow, a reading about what people think about you. Okay. I should do a reading like that for myself. I mean, come on. Who doesn't wonder about that, right? That's like one of the main things I think on anyone's mind at any given moment. Gotta be. I mean, when you're walking into a room at work, I mean, when you go in, you know, and there are people there, of course. That way, what else are you going to be thinking? What do these people think of me? Do they think I'm professional? Do they think I know what I'm doing? Do they think I know my stuff? Or do they think I'm like an idiot? I'm like a total imposter, that I don't know anything. I don't know how to do this job, and they're paying me. You know, I mean, come on, we all do that stuff. So I get it. The question. Okay. What people think about you. Let me do a little bit more. Okay. All right, 3 cards will make themselves known. All right, Jelly Milly Mellow. Let's see what we turn up. Okay. 3 oh. All right. Okay, well. Okay. We're dealing here, again, with the creative force and the heart and what it wants and loves, and a very deep-seated major arcana card, the world, le monde. Big card. Okay. On the left, something we have, we don't have to worry that much about, we can rely on it and build on it. Something here to focus on now. And here, what we are aiming toward, what's coming. What people think of you is the overarching subject matter. What you have, what people have seen, what you can rely on, what you don't have to worry too much about. This creative energy, this wands again. The 5. Now the 5 is an interesting number because it implies unsettlement, things jostling, new ideas, conflict, a protuberance, the waves are coming in and making the boat bounce up and down in the marina, and boom, 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 boom. And you're like, what's going on? What is going on? There's something happening, and I have to deal with it. And I have to see what this new thing is, because it's changing me. It's changing things. So, this unsettlement, this destabilizing of the status quo, is something that exists, that you can kind of not worry so much about it. If people see this in you, if this is something they think about you, this destabilization, it's in this creative sense, because what it means, it's not a negative destabilizing. It's almost a way people look at someone creative, like a great actor or a novelist, their favorite novelist, and they're like, how does she do that? How does she get those ideas? How does she do all those weird, surprising things all the time? That's because this energy in the creative wand suit allows this kind of conflict and change to operate in you. And you're able to resolve these conflicts and use them in the creative or work world, in that energy that you radiate when you're working on things. This could be in personal or work life. It doesn't matter. Anywhere that requires this creative energy, this spirit of making and building on things. And that ability to deal with conflict and new ideas. It's not just conflict, not an argument. It's the conflict of a new idea coming in and saying, no, this other stuff, no longer good enough. Sorry. It's time to change. It's like when you go, oh, something new's about to happen. Oh boy, this is going to be good. That's what that is. So that is something people see in you. And don't worry about it, is what this card is saying. Let that go. That's kind of there, and you don't have to really focus too much on that, because it's just there and it's going to be there. Now, right now, there's this Ace of Cups, this heart, this feeling, this love, and the Ace is the huge, it's the potentiality of that feeling. It's the herald of this arrival of strong feeling. It's like the card that goes, boom, I'm here. Guess what? There's something new in town. It's a new feeling is happening. Now, these people may see you having this great ability to deal with new ideas creatively, and this enormous passion, this great depth of feeling. They may see that right now. This is very current, this middle card. This feeling is expressing itself and is very visible at the moment, I would say, to others. They may be thinking about this. They may be thinking about your degree, your level of emotional involvement with something. Or someone. Hard to say. You know better than anyone else does. But that is significant. That is big feeling, announcing itself, intruding upon everything. Right here. This Ace. Now, this is a very big main card, the world. This is the self This is the person coming out and being whole, being themselves, and in sync with all these universal elements. You know, these four corners, these beasts, these animals, these, you know, you've got human, you've got the bird, you've got this, you know, lion figure, this sort of cow type figure. These are like heralds. These are they're angelic. They communicate between worlds, between realms. They are representative of bringing all four corners, all the forces together in you. So what people are thinking, there may be unsettled things going on creatively, new things happening that are creating some discomfort. People may see that. They may see you struggling with it. They may see you worrying about it. Okay. But they see passion, they see feeling, they see deep feeling. They know something is going on with you. They know that you can be counted on to follow your heart. And they also know that you achieve great wholeness. You bring it all together and you come out shining in this world card where it's kind of like you're born anew in this card and you're kind of dancing. This is a dance happening. You know, this is somebody sort of swaying and enjoying the breeze. This is a rebirth card. So people may see that energy in you coming through this cycle. Creative force, feeling, passion, leading to whole, strong, expressive confidence. So I would say, you know, people do see these things, and you have to, you don't need to necessarily blow it up into something that's like, well, I'm not making a Hollywood movie or anything. No, this can be day to day at work. This can be family. This can be getting ready for a big dinner or a party or anything you're doing where you're using, you know, these things that people see you use, and they can see how you apply yourself and your heart to what you do, and how it leads ultimately to this person on the right there who really has their stuff together. Maybe, and if you feel like you don't, then it could be that people are hoping, they're rooting for you to get there. But the implication here is that people are aware of this as, if not actuality, then it's a definite possibility for you. So that's something to keep in mind. Frankly, if I get the world card for something I'm doing at any point, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to just think about that card, because that means I'm going to be dancing and people are going to be throwing a big wreath around my neck. And that sounds like basically I just won a big Formula One race somewhere. Okay. Tarot lady in a church. You're welcome, Jelly Millie Mello. You're very welcome.
Tarot lady in a church, you can ask. What do you got for me? Give me your best shot. Give me your best question. Oh, see, Tarot lady in a church. It's right there in your name. You kind of get the tarot religion door opening thing, I think. Clearly. Okay. Between assignments, yes. Right now, it's just a sitting around until the next task is assigned. I'm feeling like, okay. Okay, so I'm sort of feeling like you're kind of in the work area here. Yeah. Okay, so I think I know kind of what you're talking about also from my own experience. Between assignments and the sitting around. Okay, yeah. And you know, I know one thing that can happen. I know one thing that can happen with that pause between things. Self-doubt creeps in because you start to wonder why you're not really busy, why they're not telling me to do something or asking me to do something. Have they forgotten? Do they not care? Do they take me seriously? Are they getting ready to fire me? You know, all that kind of doubt around work or things or tasks or projects or stuff like that. And you're between them. You know, like you go through a burst of activity to get something done. You get it done. People like it. And then if some time goes by where you're not doing anything and you're waiting, it can be a little disconcerting. Okay, so if your work is spiritual in nature, I mean, I can't imagine a better avenue for discussing that kind of thing than tarot, actually. It lends itself so well. Okay, let's think about this. Between tasks, confirmation, let's get our okay. We have a big card, a major arcana in the coming up position. We have a valet of swords. I was just talking about swords earlier. In the middle position, a court card. And we have a number card. Okay, let's start with this number card. This position here where we're kind of, you know, well, we're between tasks. Let's think of this as, you know, we've completed something. And now we have this gathering of force.
We have a coming together of potential conflicting ideas or people, but we have a coming together. We have a unification that's happened. Something has been achieved. Something's gone right, and we feel pretty whole, or we have felt whole recently. We're kind of moving past that now. Okay? So I think here we have a very perfect layout for what you've described in a spiritual sense of this in-between things. Because right here in between things, you have this valet known as page, normally, of swords, thought, conflict, belief, the air symbol. So there's this gathered energy in the heart, in the feeling. Something's been accomplished because we're ready. We're ready for something. We've gathered what we need. We have an urge to do the next thing. It's here. This is the meeting of forces ready to take action, to find the next game, to solve the next spiritual crisis, perhaps. It's all there. It wants to be used. The heart wants to be useful. That's what this card is for you. And here is this doubt. The brain, the mind starts coming in with doubtful questions because there's this youth here. There's this youthful sense of not knowing everything, but great enthusiasm, learning, passion, to carry this passion in the heart here in the youthful character who's still learning and adapting to things. In the spiritual realm, you never know entirely what you're doing. You never figure it all out. It's not like learning how to add numbers in a spreadsheet together and you know how to put those formulae together and they make sense. That's not what it is in a spiritual work. It's always more difficult. It's more subtle and hard to pin down. And that's what this is representing. This is not representing, in your case, I don't believe, naive qualities. It's representing the constant will to learn and figure out what is needed, because it's always shifting. Every spiritual person is always learning, is always a student, is always in a new place, is always dealing with a totally new kind of issue. It's never settled. It's never figured out. And that's why this is here. And this character is ready to use the mind, to apply the mind to problems, to solve them, but can't quite yet figure out what exactly is needed. He's just pulled the thing out of the scabbard, or he's wanting to put it back in. You don't quite know here. He's sort of feet in two different directions. He doesn't quite know which direction the problem is, and that's what's happening now. This is a good card for that waiting period. And what it indicates is not to worry, because this page's intention is always to learn and to grow. And using this coupled up energy, this built up energy in the heart, this love for what you do, his reliance on that is crucial to remember. And that brings us to the thing to be gained, to seek, the Lover card. And you can see, again, we have that angelic, Cupid-like personality coming down, radiating all this energy, radiating, bursting from the sky. And these three people, The three people present some confusion. Normally we don't think of lovers that way. We think of a couple. But what we have here is simply an expression of things get more complicated in ways that are unexpected. This could be two lovers who want to go off and be together, and they have an issue with one of their parents, with the mom. Something like that. There's something to be discussed. There's something to be figured out. There are decisions to be made, choices to be made. It's the story of how love can be complicated. You know, like on Facebook, there's a thing for relationship status, and you can choose, at least you used to be able to, you can be able to choose, single, married, or I think you can choose it's complicated, or you can, I think you can. And that's what this card is sort of like. It's saying things aren't as simple and clear always as they seem, especially in affairs of the heart. But the feeling is there. This Cupid character sees all, knows the truth. Look how the character's sort of looking down at these two here. The arrow is sort of down here. There's a clear indication that these two kind of need to be a pair. So it implies that there's something coming. You've got this feeling. You're waiting, you're between things, indecision, learning, trying to figure out where it's going to lead, what's going to happen next. Always with a positive, enthusiastic wanting to go there, wanting to get the next thing. And then this next thing comes up, and there's more about the heart going on here, but it's a much more deep crisis here coming up. Maybe a crisis coming with someone you'll help. Maybe the idea here is keep your eyes open and look for the crisis of love, of relationship that comes up that needs a third figure. Perhaps in this case, the third figure is not a mom. Perhaps it's not a confusion between three people. Perhaps it's someone helping a relationship. That might be what's happening here in this particular reading. I think I would keep my eye on that as a distinct possibility. And these are always, these are never definite things with tarot. They're always hints. They're always leanings. They're always saying, like I said there at the end, keep your eyes open for this. It doesn't mean that tomorrow a couple is going to drop down on your doorstep and go, excuse me, but we need you to help us, find our way on the bus. It just means look for that element in the next thing you deal with. Relationship element, some confusion, some complexity, some decision they're trying to make. But what it also indicates to me is that your present wonderings aren't going to last very long and will be definitely put to use coming up soon in something rather significant. So, that last card on the right there is a big card. Let me get the focus on the camera working again.
I don't know why the camera sometimes goes out of focus. Let me try and see what I can. There we go. See how I can fix things? TN Chris, good evening. Thank you. I haven't streamed tarot in a while. I have streamed some gaming things. I tend to do gaming things purely for fun during downtime. Like between projects. I was talking with Tarot Lady in a church about being between projects and things like that. But yeah, so I do gaming because it's good for my brain. Yes. Parasocial Perry, you can have a reading. Yes, absolutely. All you have to do is ask your question. You ask your question, and I will then run over to the tarot table. You're welcome, Tarot Lady in a church. Yes, the genre coming up. The next genre for you. Yes, it is. You're right, TN Chris. That you're absolutely right. That thing about doing things that are fun and good for the brain. Yeah. And I always say that to people. Gaming, sometimes has a negative connotation. Some people, it's like, I'm like, well, that's just because you haven't found your game. It could be chess. You don't know. You haven't found your game. Okay, Parasocial Perry. What is the outcome of the business okay. Now, first thing I need to tell you is I can't predict business outcomes. I would not want you to go and make a big business decision and put money on something based on what I were to say in a tarot reading. That would not be a wise approach to your business. But what the tarot cards do is kind of give you hints about things to sort of consider and just keep your eyes open for, or not to be negative in any way, but just give you ideas about what to let your mind kind of ponder. And that sometimes it can, looking at tarot, it can make you go, oh my gosh, wait, I didn't even think of it from that angle. That's what its use really is. So yes, as long as you understand that. Okay, so this is from today. Business opportunity from today. All right, let's focus on that. We will let the Tarot de Marseille give us some hints. Business opportunity offered today. Wow. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Well. Not only
there's two biggies here. Two majors have come up. Okay. Let's just take them down the line. Yeah, I love that this is about a business opportunity. First thing we see, which every business person knows, temperance. In other words, even keel, steady, control. Temperance is not the card of high-risk investment. Temperance is balanced and even and calm and has a sense of mutuality, mutual assistance and sharing and generosity. Keep these in mind. These are showing on the left as qualities that are dependable in you, that you are already aware of, that you possess and have relied on in the past. This quality of temperance has not only is sharing is more complex than just giving something to someone else. It's mixing things. It's putting different things together. Look what she's doing. I mean, for God's sake, she's mixing oil and vinegar or something, two different things together. That mixture of different components that maybe other people don't see as working together, but you have at other times now. But this is a quality that you have had some experience with. So temperance doesn't just calmness of mind. It includes that, but it's also this ability to mix things. Let's talk about business. I mean, stocks and funds. Let's think about that real quick, because I've been thinking about those things lately. And that's the whole thing. A mutual fund. Why is a mutual fund generally a pretty safe investment? Because they mix things. They put different stocks together. Some are high volatile risks. Others are very steady, slow, conservative. They mix them together and they try to balance it so that in general, over time, it gives you a positive result over time that you can depend on. That is the definition of temperance. Something you already have that you can rely on. That's there for us in this reading. Now, right now, in the position to focus on, to think about, is the Sun card, another deep, huge, big, major arcana card. Very important factor. The Sun implies growth, energy. Look at it. Showering energy down. Okay? These are kids. They're in this enclosure somewhere playing. They're out. It looks like a summer day, like they might have just come out of the ocean or something, and swimming pool, but there's a joy. You have to be careful because it can overwhelm. It can get a little too hot. It can get a little too baked. That's the caution part of it. But in general, as a rule, this is a card of intense energy and growth. It means there's a quality of great success in this card. You just simply can't avoid it. Look at the different colors radiating from the central energy and showering that energy down on these people, these youthful. They're finding joy here. So that is something that is very, very present in this moment to think about. Balance, mixture, calm, level-headedness, always dependable, steady growth. Right now, there's big energy. There's big energy afoot today. How you mix these two, how you deal with the calm, steady growth and balance it with the more intense, heated up energy is the key. Now, where is that key? How do you balance these two things? The steady, more conservative with the hot, more aggressive. Well, coming into the picture is the King of Cups. Not quite as significant a card, but this King of Cups strikes me as that no-nonsense, gently strong authority who knows his heart, who knows how to control his feelings. He knows how to master his emotions. Those emotions could be ignited to flare with this card. Sudden feelings of excitement. This guy is like, I know all about that. I understand that. Been there, done that. This is an influence. This is the go-between. This is the one who says, remember in your excitement, always never forget this steady approach. Remember the safety of this and let it influence the risk and the high energy, the impulsive qualities perhaps of this. This can get out of hand. This can get extremely hot. This character is here to modify and to handle it and keep it within your ability to understand and control. He will keep the heart tamed so you don't become too impulsive and make unwise decisions. So keep him in mind. Very, very good for a business person to have this ability to settle and calm the excitement that happens in business sometimes, moving too quickly. But in general, this energy recently has this joyful, positive aspect to it. So, yeah, I mean, I think for any business person, getting that Temperance card and the King of Cups, it's very wise, sound advice, I think, in any business or business opportunity to always keep a balance between aggressive and conservative, and know when you're leaning one way or the other and why. Doesn't mean you can't lean toward aggressiveness. You just have to be clear about why you're doing it and what the risks are. That's all. Same in every corporation, every business I've ever been talking to or dealing with. Same thing. It's just, any business school or any business person or CEO will talk to you about that, balancing of risk and conservative decision making.
You're very welcome. And as with all business opportunities, I hope it goes very well for you there. Business can be really fun. It can be just a fun thing, and opportunities are always exciting, and, but I think those of us that do business, we get excited, but we don't necessarily run around a conference room expressing it necessarily. We just wait and do that when we get home. So yeah, I'm kind of glad the sun card came up. The sun card is where I am, it's been kind of foggy. So we need the sun card. We need some of that aggressive energy. Thank you, Tia and Chris. Yes, I mean, that's the thing about readings. I agree with you, because when I watch somebody do readings, it's just like, it doesn't have to be a reading for you. You just learn just from any reading that you see, because you can always sort of apply any reading to your own thinking. Yeah, sometimes I do that. I'll just watch tarot readers on Twitch, and I'll just sort of enjoy it and relax, maybe have dinner, and just listen to the way they approach the cards. It's very educational, and the way people relate to other people. I've noticed you really see a lot of sort of positive stuff, positive feedback on people who do tarot on Twitch. It's amazing. I'm very impressed with them and how they do things. There's always something that any tarot reader has to give, I think. So it's really fun to watch them. When I'm not streaming, I'm just sort of tired or something and work, it's just a nice thing to do. Like sometimes right before going to bed or something, I'll just watch some, and I've never been disappointed. There's always something that you stumble across that somebody has to say, What I am really impressed by with streamers, though, which I don't yet have, is they're really good at talking to people when, like, the chat is going by really fast. And I'm like, sometimes I watch them and I'm like, how are they doing that? I don't understand how they can keep up with it. It's just too fast. There's too many people there. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know how they do it. Yeah, it has to be its own skill, because I'm telling you, if this chat of mine right here were flying by the way some of these people get it going, I don't know. I'd have to back up. I'd have to be like scrolling up back like 30 comments to keep to see what was happening. So, yeah. But one of the things I like about tarot streaming is the very simplest thing of setting up a tarot table with a view of the table and the cards. That's like my favorite thing about it. I love doing that, like putting colors in and stuff. It's just kind of like you're just, you're setting the scene the way you feel it works, and it's just, it's really, you're making it a little artwork is what you're doing, sort of. And that's a big part of my own enjoyment. So yeah, and I was just last week I did a private reading. I've just started getting into the private tarot readings for people where I can, use the same streaming functionality that I use for Twitch, and you can send it through to like a private Discord session, or you can feed it directly into like Skype, so they see the same thing like that you're seeing here now. They can see that, and you can do a whole thing that way, which is basically, I just figured out that you could do that. So that's really interesting. Yeah, storytelling aspect of the tarot is very important, because that's what it is. It's stories, and a tarot reader is essentially a storyteller. And that goes up and down, and you can get more intensely into the storytelling aspect. It depends on the reading. But yeah, you've got these images that are ideas, and they put together in different arrangements and make little stories that are significant and that have importance to people, because they make the brain start operating in new ways. It's a form of exercise. It's like a spiritual and mental exercise, really. Opening those doors and avenues of thought, it gets you going, and you start to think that things are possible in a different way. That's what I find is great about tarot. I don't even care that much, even necessarily about which deck is used. I like this one, but I don't have to use. I can use the American deck, all the writer thing. It doesn't really matter that much, because you just get into that story, and it starts to have that effect on the mind. Even when you're reading for someone else, the reading you're doing for the other person has its own influence on the reader themselves. It can create new angles in the mind for the reader. And that's why tarot reading can get very hard, because it can get very draining, because you're not only doing the reading, but it is affecting you. So you're giving a reading, but you're also getting a reading, in a sense. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do that. I do try to look at the visual and not be completely bound to meanings that I've read, because I've read a lot of books. Some people hate tarot books. I enjoy them. I even enjoy less good ones for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just do. I don't know why. Sometimes they're kind of goofy, but I'll read them. And I just like sort of accumulating them. But I do have this thing of what you're talking about, you just said, where I do kind of like to sort of go, wait, what is the picture suggesting to me right now? And it might be something I never even thought of before. You have to be willing to let that happen, I think, if you're a tarot reader. Oh, yes, the Taschen. I know, I remember. I love that. It is, yeah. It is a great book. And I didn't really even, at first, I didn't think it would be all that great. But someone there at Taschen knows what they're doing with tarot. They've got some editors or someone in there who are like, wait a second, we don't want to just do this. We don't want to do tarot light here. Let's really do it. And I think you can see that in the book, because the stuff they write about the different cards, it's very good, actually. It just stands really well as a tarot book, not just a collection of art. It's a real tarot book. So, yes, it really does. It's a great mix, and it actually got me inspired to start making a deck, which I paused for a couple months. I just didn't have time, but I have my own way of working on a tarot deck, which I will get through and finish. But that book, that Taschen book, really sort of inspired the whole enterprise. Yeah, I will. I definitely will. In fact, I think I might share some as I go. As I'm making it, I don't see any reason why I can't kind of use some of the imagery here during a stream. I mean, I have they're all the photographs exist digitally right now. I haven't printed any of them. But I can figure something out, I think. That would be really kind of fun. Let's see. I think I will wrap it up for tonight, because I just got back into this tonight after a pretty long what do you call it, a sabbatical? So thank you, T and Chris. It's really fun to do. I love doing this, so I'm going to be more consistent about it and throw in some improvements as I go. So I'll have a few upgrades. So okay, have a great night and a great weekend, and thank you for being part of it, and I will see you very soon.